Russell-Moyle.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'd like to first of all congratulate the Conservative Party on yet another 2015 Labour election manifesto pledge delivered by them. Of course, page 62 of our 2015 manifesto, which I stood on, pledged to ban unfair letting agent fees.
You did lose.
But I've got some news for the Conservative Party, because we had a new manifesto in 2017, and that was even more popular than our 2015 manifesto. Of course, it led to them losing seats and us gaining them, which also went even further. It said that, of course, Labour would make 3-year tenancies the norm, with an inflation cap on rent rises. We would legislate to ban all letting agency fees for tenants. We would empower tenants to be able to call time on bad landlords and give tenants new consumers' rights. So it was a little bit disappointing that this particular bill didn't go quite that far. Now, of course, if the party opposite wishes to continue their work in implementing Labour manifesto pledges, I'm sure you'll meet no resistance from this side, and I'm sure it will be met with a great deal of praise from those suffering in the private rented sector. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, the scandal of letting fees has really gone on for far too long, and an audit of the private rented sector in Brighton and Hove shows just exactly how out of control these fees are. In Brighton, agents' fees start at £500 just for the holding fee. And of course, this holding fee, as we've heard, is non-refundable. So if you decide not to go for the property, you lose the money. Now, in the house buying world, you could put in a bid for a property, you could put in an offer, you could have got very far through the negotiations, and you can drop out, and there's no financial charge for you. This seems manifestly unfair. For the rich, or for homeowners, one rule, and for renters, another rule, where if you decide to change your view at the last moment for whatever reason, suddenly you are charged. And that was a great opportunity that was really missed in this bill. And of course, in Brighton, admin fees are also common, £250 on average per tenant. Tenant substitution fees are as high as £420, and guarantor fees £190. All in all, over £1,000, and we haven't got started on the deposit. Now, we've heard the same story told from many constituencies across this chamber, particularly in the South East. And we also, of course, have check-in and check-out fees as well, which are as high as £270 per check-in and check-out. So how has it got this bad? Well, there, of course, is a fundamental power imbalance in the landlord-renter market. Oftentimes, young and insecure work have no choice but to take what they are given and to pay the fees, and to actually sometimes almost have to do it with a smile. Otherwise, they will be rejected by the landlord. That's of course why it's been necessary in Brighton for renters' unions to be established. The renters' union in my constituency, such as Acorn, and I applaud their work, what they have done to fight for renters that are being abused by agents. And I must say, we've heard a lot of talk about it only being a few agents. I'm afraid in my city, I think it's a large number of the agents. I would even go so far as to say the majority of agents do these dirty tactics, and that's why this bill is needed, because it's not a few rotten apples, it is a systemic failure in the market. Now, the Minister will have received, of course, the same advice as I and many others about some of the things that need to change, particularly the loophole in Schedule 1, paragraph 4, and people have talked about that already, where, of course, you can have to pay a default fee by the tenant. And again, I come to the point where I think about the equality of sides in this argument. And whilst we still have no-fault evictions, where a landlord can decide to evict you with notice and there is no charge or fee against the agent or landlord. There's no reimbursement that you get for losing your house a few months early. So it seems again totally unfair that you would have any default fee on the other side unless it is equally balanced on both sides. And if in this bill they put an equal default fee for no-fault evictions, then actually this would be a measure that I probably could come to support. Of course, the bill fails to provide a comprehensive definition of default fees as well, and it creates the ability for fees to be reintroduced by any other means. Of course, we know that in a capitalist world, capitalism will use those loopholes to its best advantage. And it seems like the government never learns that if you don't close down loopholes, the people who will be abused are our constituents. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I guess it will take a Labour government to implement Labour manifesto policies properly. But I support this measure, even if it doesn't go quite yet far enough.